Welcome back to the Trevor Theismann Show. Today, stop. Evaluate whether or not your kid is being overtrained. It's an easy thing to do this day and age with everyone trying to make money out of multiple leagues that they're taking part in. And I think it's something that parents need to get a better grasp on and evaluate three things. Let me tell you what they are, then we'll dig into depth. The first one is laughing. Are they having a good time doing it? The second one is going to be, do they practice outside of competition, whether it be practice or the games themselves? Are they playing with their friends and participating in this sport? And the last one is going to be, does your child ask for gifts revolving around the sport, whether it be speed and agility equipment or whether it's sports specific? If it's a baseball player wants a new bat, whether it's a soccer player needs a new soccer ball, or maybe they want cones for speed and agility training. These three items I think are very important to evaluate, because if your child is never, let's dig into each one of them in depth. The first one's going to be laughing. I remember growing up somewhere in the teens area, laughing started to fade a bit. Everything became more serious. And I think it's hard to find the joy in a sport where you're trying to become so good at it. So I challenge both parents and the kids to make sure that they still are having a good time doing this kind of an activity and find the joy in the little things, because most of the time you end up with the bad news that I did, that one day you don't get to play this sport anymore, and all of that time you spent playing should have been the time you were enjoying rather than working your tail off and not really taking a moment to smell the roses. So that one's really simple. Do they find joy in it? Are they laughing about it on trips to and from practice and games? Are you guys getting a good laugh? Is it entertaining? Are you building more of a quality of life and making a better human in this whole process? Or has it become a job? The second thing that is very obvious is that when you have kids over to stay the night or they're hanging out with their friends, I remember when I was growing up, I was definitely into baseball above most everything. But when I had friends over, we were playing catch. It didn't matter what time of day it was. It didn't matter what part of the year it was. We were outside playing catch because we loved it that much. So if your kid's involved in, say, hockey, or your kid's involved in soccer, are they still trying to play that in the basement with their friends? Or are they doing something completely different? They have no interest in the sport, but yet we're driving them to practice 3 and 4 days a week. We're doing all these activities, and it doesn't seem as though it's something they're really, really embracing. And I'm not suggesting that they don't have to play the sport anymore. I'm simply suggesting that maybe we're doing it too many nights a week. I've even heard of travel softball teams. Kids 9 and 10 years old have 7 softball games in a weekend. 7 of them. 7 softball games in a weekend. Well, the first one, good. Second one, good. Third one, you start to fatigue a little. Fourth one, think about that. Watch your kid when they play. At the end of the weekend, are they still having a blast? Then maybe it's not too much. But when you start getting in these multiple game weekends and then practice 3 nights a week, there becomes a point of diminishing returns. We're just overworking these young athletes, and they're not really actually getting the benefit of that. We're getting into the fatigue side of things. And I think it's very important to stay on track with all that and watch and make sure that these teams are not overdoing it. And the third one is going to be asking for gifts. Obviously, if your kid wants a gift and wants to sacrifice a video game for some kind of sporting equipment, then that's going to definitely show you that they're still involved and still having a good time. So use these 3 cues as a small little reminder to check as you go through youth athletics and you sign up for the next select team, the next type of thing where you've got, soccer and baseball going at the same time. Are we killing one or the other? Do they not really enjoy one over the other? I would say one thing to also keep in mind is don't get them too sectioned off into one given sport. This has been a big topic as athletes have said within, professional baseball players have talked a lot about how they played basketball and football and all these other sports and don't specialize the kids too early. And I would completely agree. When you're growing up, you learn so many body movement skills from playing multiple sports that it's imperative that you give them variety so that they can become a better athlete and a better person in different experiences. The more you can challenge a young athlete with adversity, the better they're going to get. So to just target soccer right from the get-go at 7 on because you like soccer or something along those lines, that's not going to be what's best for the kid. So be sure that you keep variety, but when you get in select leagues in every one of these versions, 5 nights a week of practice and weekend tournaments with 10 games is a little much. You really got to be careful. Don't get sucked into the idea of you always have to be on a field, paying money, doing all these things. You can play with your kid too, and you can motivate them to become better. So I would challenge each of you to use those 3 items on the bulleted list there. Make sure they're laughing. Are they practicing with their friends or playing with their friends outside of it? And are they sacrificing other types of gifts that they could have gotten on a birthday or Christmas and are asking for sporting equipment? Then I'd say you're doing all the right things, and let youth sports be youth sports. Let it be a good time and help them the best that you can.